Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the market close. Fantastic to be here. We got a green day. Although the second half of the day, not as green as the first half, but green day nonetheless. Loving it. We got a lot going on in the world today. Everything from, are they picking a new pope? Who knows? I have not yet looked in on that. We had the big meeting between Carney and Trump yesterday. And of course, today, the rate decision from the Fed. And, spoiler alert, there was no rate cut in the U.S. today. So Powell is holding his guns despite the fact that Trump really wants those rates to come down. So definitely an interesting day. All right. Let's do what we normally do. Let's head on into the market.
I don't know that.
All right, we're going to start with, of course, the TSX. And the TSX, as I mentioned, it is in the green. I'm going to pull this out a little so I can actually see the numbers. There we go. It is currently up 0.30%. So it's not a strong green day, but I have reset our blue line. So May is currently a green month. We'll have to see if we can hold on to that. It's going to be fun. The S&P 500 nice. When I put the blue line here, they were down towards the bottom of this candle, so they were in a red month, but they have just crawled back into a green month. Now they're doing a little better today, up 0.51%. Nasdaq is they're down a little bit. They're actually down 0.44%. Can't wait to look at the heat map. I know that Amazon was not having a good day, not even remotely. Dow Jones, they're a little bit in the green for the month, up 0.71%. And I did add a blue line for the Russell. Russell is in green territory month-wise, but they're having a red day. They are down 0.72%. Gold is down, and that makes sense because as people are getting used to the new normal, as they're kind of getting used to Trump's tariff world, we're getting a little bit less panicky. And people, when they get less panicky, they start to pull a little bit of that money out of their gold and start putting it back into investments, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, gold down 1.89, silver down 2.5%. Oil not having a good day. WTI down 1.28%. A few of the Canadian oil companies reported their earnings today, and some of them, not so good. Bitcoin in the red today, down 0.56%. Ethereum down 1.04%. Heading to that heat map. Here we go. You can see we got a good amount of red. We've got a few things that are like the banks are kind of flat. I mean, look, Royal Bank's up 0.31%, TD up 0.02%. By the way, if you like the TD Bank, they're the next deep dive. So that will be the video that's dropping on Thursday for the channel members. They get to see everything one day early. Look at this. We got a little bit of red in our non-energy minerals. A lot of the gold companies like London Gold right down here, down 2.40%. Of course, they had the best performance in the last 0 to 100K challenge. Some of the regular oil companies, some of them are doing okay. Like Torlamine is up 2.97, but Suncor down 4.07. I don't see TA in this list, but they're down a little bit too. We'll take a look at them a little bit later. Looking okay with the railroads. They're looking good. Fortis having a good day. Fortis also reported their earnings, and they reported a pretty good quarter. That's good for Fortis, absolutely. Utilities, I think, right across the board are starting to look fantastic today. Heading south of that border, oh boy, yeah, look, here it is. Google. That's what I was thinking. I think I said Amazon earlier. I was thinking about Google. Google down, look at that, 7.53%. The rest of the tech is actually not looking so bad. NVIDIA up, Amazon up, Microsoft slightly up. So yeah, not a bad day. Not a bad day on the S&P 500, in my opinion. Well, this is also the Nasdaq. Everything's in here. Going over to crypto. Going over to crypto, Bitcoin has recovered up 1.31%. They were actually down when when I was preparing for the show, so they have made a little bit of recovery in the last little bit. Ethereum up slightly, Solana up slightly, Dogecoin up slightly. So XRP though, they're down 1.14%. Of course, there's about 15,000 or more altcoins, and Bitcoin's having a red day. So I'm just going to pick some random, or sorry, Bitcoin's having a green day now. I'm going to pick some random red company. Here's one. Let's grab them. This is Particia blockchain. I have no clue what that is. No idea. It's not worth much. It's worth a penny and a half. Yeah. Once again, these are coins. I like to call them crap coins. I say, stick away from them. You guys know I'm not a big fan of penny stocks. These are the crap coins are even worse. Stick to the coins that you can trust. The ones that are a little bit more actually have a function. So your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, and even the Dogecoin, much better than some of those crap coins. But if you do want to get involved in a crap coin, do your due diligence, read the white paper, make sure it has a function, all of that fun stuff. All right, holy banana bread. You guys are just absolutely flooding the chat. Let's get in here. We got about 9 minutes to the bell. All right. Let's see. Finbar says hanging in the green overall so far today. Nice. Kevin Kess says, good afternoon, gang. Jonathan, am I late? Am I late for a very important Trump date? It kind of rhymed. Probably would rhyme better if I had read it right. And Finbar says, not really. Feds held the rate again. Yeah, absolutely. So the U.S. rate has not changed. And the market's losing some of the early ground it made today. Yeah, and that's one of the things that we were seeing. First half of the day, much more green. We got some red candles finishing out the day for sure. Bleak is in the house with a hey team, and we got hello all from Stan Gray. Vic is saying black smoke, no pope. What does white or blue smoke mean? Well, white smoke means that they found that they have elected a pope. So I have not looked in yet on the Vatican, so I don't know whether or not we've got anything yet today. I think it's very rare. I don't even know if I can remember any time that we've had, like, you have to get, I think it's, and guys, I am absolutely not up on my Popeonomics, but I think it's like you need something like is it 75%? I think you need, like, I think it's either 65 or 75, but you need a big chunk of the vote. So if you don't get that, well, they burn all the ballots, and you'll get black smoke from that, meaning that they're going to do it again. And I don't know, and maybe one of you guys knows, but I don't know if they eliminate, like, whoever got the least amount of votes each time or something, or maybe, well, they have a system, but they'll keep doing it, and they'll keep voting however long it takes until they get that white smoke. And then once you get the white smoke, a pope has been elected, and normally they will then have a press conference or something to announce the person. After that, I don't know how long, whether it be 3 hours or an hour, who knows? Like I said, I'm not up on the Popeonomics. I don't have a lot of Popeonomics in my in my portfolio per se. Jersky is in the house. Hello from the Cedar, implanting wheat today. Nice. Out on the Cedar. Gotta love it. Yeah, today it's kind of rainy here today. Kind of rainy, but but there's no really any place I could plant seeds. The city probably would get mad at me if I was driving a cedar up and down the street out there trying to plant. It'd be anyway. Kevin Cass says, no action for me today, but I can live with that. Yeah, it's nice to have a day where nothing happens. I'm absolutely okay with that as well. We got Paul in the house with a good afternoon. All right, and guys, we got about 5 minutes to the bell. So if if you have a problem with loud noises, if you don't like them, I'll try to give you about a 10-second warning or so. But yeah, feel free to turn down the volume or pull out the earbuds when we get to the bell, because I don't want to hurt anybody's ears unless they, if I can help it. We got Mark in the house with a hey, Candace. Hello, Mark. Good to see you. Mary says, good afternoon. Hello, Mary. And guys, Mary is our unofficial captain of the like button. So that means I get to have some coffee while you guys are busy hitting the like button. I'm going to sip the dip. Very good. I like it. I like it a lot. Mario is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. Paul's having a plus 1% day. Well, that's not too bad. Not too bad there. Rory saying, hey there, no change in the U.S. So yeah, we had, of course, we had the meeting yesterday between Carney and Trump. Nothing really came of it other than, and this is, I guess, a small victory that we can take, is that he didn't make any kind of an embarrassing situation come out of Carney. But I watched the interview, and there were a few times I saw Carney holding back. He had some stuff I think he wanted to fight back, but yeah, I'm hoping he fought back a little behind closed doors. But so far, nothing has changed. But on the bright side, it hasn't gotten worse. Why do I have a feeling that's going to be the motto for the next little while? Well, it didn't get any worse, so we'll take that as a victory for sure. All right. Bill says, anyone know why semiconductor stocks went bonkers in the last 5 minutes? Ooh, interesting. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, if anybody knows what's going on, let us know. Let the chat know. Larry is saying, howdy. Hello, Larry. Good to see you. Trumperson's chip curbs and stocks shooting up to close. Okay, there we go. Vic says blue smoke means the Leafs will win the cup. So that means we're never going to see blue smoke, right? Is that what that's going? Jets and Oilers have blue too. Actually, it's nice. I mean, I'm liking the fact that we have 3 Canadian teams still left in the Stanley Cup. So here's hoping. Here's hoping at least two of them make it to the next round. Maybe all 3. I'd be okay with all 3. I mean, wouldn't it be crazy if we got like either Winnipeg or Edmonton against Toronto in the Stanley Cup final? We know Toronto wouldn't win, but that'd be kind of crazy. Paul says sold 3 strategy to buy 4.28 Tesla, sold 2 IBIT used to buy 9 SOL USD shares. Nice. Paul is doing some shuffling, making money doing it too. So nothing wrong with that. We got about a minute and a half. We got about a minute and a half here until the bell. Larry says STNG, now the largest position, 17,000 shares at $37.10. 1.4 billion in liquid, no debt. They have revolving credit of 500 mil at 2%, but I don't count that. $2 billion worth of ships make 1.8 billion a year. Market cap 2.06 billion. That's not too shabby. That's not too shabby at all. So let's see. Mark is saying, I grew up in Winnipeg. Going to Jets games when they were still in the WH League, so pre-NHL. Go Jets, go all Canadian teams. Yeah, I remember the first time I seen like that white thing that the Jets have, where everybody's waving white towels and stuff, and that was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, of the 3 teams, I don't want to take. I will just say, Winnipeg would be my first choice for the cup, and the only reason I don't want to disparage Edmonton, or I'm okay with disparaging Toronto a little bit. They've never won a cup before. They lost when the city lost their franchise, got it back, although it's technically a different team. But Yeah, I think it would be okay to see Winnipeg. My number 2 choice would be, of course, Edmonton, and number 3, uh, the only good thing about Toronto if they won the cup is that finally the Toronto fans can stop complaining about not winning the cup for, like, 50 years or however many it has been. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Rory says, if the Leafs Oilers go to the Stanley Cup final, Gary Bettman would pull. Oh, guys, it's time for the bell. All right, here we go. I I was distracted. I was about 30 seconds late. 30 seconds. It's because we got into hockey. I'm gonna blame it on hockey. Perhaps I need to go to the penalty box for that. All right. So Rory said if Leafs Oilers got to the Stanley Cup final, Gary Bettman would pull the plug on the NHL, shut it down. Um, yeah, the NHL I think would lose money when there's an all Canadian final because the U.S. Most people in the U.S. are not interested in watching two Canadian teams play a Canadian sport. So yeah, I think NHL wise, they're hoping for two, Canada, U.S., or even better in their case, two U.S. teams because Canadians will still watch if it's U.S. teams. So what can I say? Tom says first month of tariffs, U.S. exports down 6.6%, but overseas exports up 24.8%, second highest in history. Yeah, yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, I don't know why my nose is always so friggin' itchy. And it's only when I go on the air. It's never itchy until I get on the air. It must be, maybe I'm allergic to the light. That might be it. All right. Jim says, I can't seem to add you on Blossom. Oh, really? Let's see if I can add you, Jim. Let's pull it up here. Blossom, Blossom, Blossom. All right. All right. I'm going to do a search on, I'll do a search on Jim Peterson. We'll see if that works. All right. I've got two here. Which one are you, Jim? I have a feeling. Are you Wall Whipple? Are you Wall Whipple? You know what? I'm thinking you're Wall. All right. We'll follow. Let me put a follow in. Come on. Let me follow. All right. There we go. I just started to follow this Jimmy Peterson here. Wall Whipple. Let's hope. Let's hope. All right, good. I see a head Wall Whipple. All right. I have now followed I followed Jimmy. Jimmy has been followed. Now you should be able to see me in your followers and just click on my profile and then follow back. No problem. No problem. All right. All right. Where were we? Where were we? Oh, yes. We're back over here. And Paul is saying, Larry, 360,700. Holy cow. Yep. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Mick Eagle 328 says, good afternoon. Just wondering what your current opinion is on CNR as a buy right now. What upside are we looking at? What upside are we looking at on the upside? Okay. So CNR, and you know what? Let's pull CNR up here. I like it that we're on the other side of the bell, so we can go down whatever rabbit hole you guys want to go down, which is always fun. I am forever bullish on CNR, and they're doing fantastic right now. Like I think today, look at this, up 1.807%. I'm gonna pull up the 5-year here, so you can see CNR. I mean, my God, they had a great time up until about March of 2024, and then it's been downhill for sure. Now, there's been a lot of issues going on that you can attribute to this. Everything from, well, I'm going to blame most of it on some of the labor disputes. They had a lot of different issues like that. Wildfires last summer also impacted them quite a bit, and you'll see the same thing happened with CP. So I think right now, I don't see them going much lower than, at one point here, like I think right about here, take a look. They had a low of about 133. So I don't see them going that much lower, even if we go into a recession, because they are recession proof. Like no matter what happens, they've got domestic customers, both on this side of the border and the US side of the border. The only area where they're going to be really impacted is going to be the cross-border transportation, because obviously, yeah, some of that product is going to dry up. There's going to be a lot less going back and forth. So they're going to lose a little bit of revenue in that area. But at the same time, if, and this is a big if, and so far I see all indications that that Carney and the Liberals plan to keep their promises, but if they open up more of our resources, that is fantastic for CNR, because a lot of the mines, especially up north, a lot of our northern resources, and this would also include the Ring of Fire in Ontario, CNR's the name in the game, because they've got the northern tracks. They've got all of those tracks going up north. That could be some good business. That could definitely be some good business, and that could, of course, help. Now, whatever they do lose cross-border, it's not going to be it'll be significant, but it won't. I don't think it's going to impact them too much. I think they might go down in a recession, but they're not going to go down as much as everybody else. They might go down a little bit, if anything. If you're looking for a solid company to dollar cost average in through the recession, the railroads are not a bad choice, But at the same time, you will get better deals on other companies, because I don't think they're going to fall as much. So you'll get them on sale. You're just not going to get a super sale, as you might find with some other companies. All right. And let's see here. Larry says, the most important part about the 630.7K is money is that it's the best kind of money, other people's money. Yeah, that's always a good one for sure. McGeagle said, I actually bought a bit of Google today on the unfounded selling. What's your opinion on that? I find that interesting. I find it interesting that Google went down. I don't know why. I did not have a chance to look into that, like quite literally. As I was preparing for the show, that's when I saw that Google had a big dip for sure. So I haven't yet had a good chance to take a look. Now, beautiful thing is, we have, as I've mentioned many, many times, let's go in here. Let's drop Google in. So GOOG. Here we go. Here's Alphabet. Let's add them. One of the things I like about TradingView, and you get this on the free version. You don't have to pay for anything to get this. You can click on here and it will give you a whole bunch of its earnings. So, let's see here. All right, so their earnings were back here. So, yeah, and they actually did good on their earnings. So those earnings dropped basically April 25th. They did fantastic, but look at what happened today. What the heck is going on? I'm just going to pull this up and see here. Let's see. Investing secrets, tech stocks mixed late afternoon. AI is hitting search traffic. Testimony suggests AI is hitting search traffic. Why would that? You see, and this is the thing. You'll start to get some of these news articles. I'm just going to pull up more events here. Let's see. Sector AI suggesting, let's see. Tumble on report Apple could drop. Here we go. Here's what's going on. So once again, it's fear-based, right? If there's a report that Apple might, so this here is a could, so it doesn't mean that they're going to, but people hear this and they're like, Apple's going to drop, Google for AI search. So yeah, that could be, that could definitely cause a little bit of panic amongst people, and some people selling because of it. But there we go. And that's why one of the things, guys, and I always say this, if you do not use tradingview.com, I would suggest grab it. Just grab it, because a lot of times you'll find the news. Now, mind you, you could also, and I want to show this as well, because I don't have any affiliation with TradingView or anything, but You can also sometimes find your answer even in something as simple as the TMX site, because you'll notice down here they have a news tab. And all right, well, well, that's very handy. Let's see here. Those are press releases. Let's go in the media. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I'm just going to refresh the page just in case. All right. Well, a lot of different sites have, like even Yahoo Finance does. Normally, I do see news stuff over here on TMX. I'm not sure why I don't right now, but TradingView, that's normally my first stop anyway, just because it's all pretty simple. They'll give you that little thing, and it's just really easy to get some of the different stories on what is going on. So yeah, there we go. Apple. It's Apple's fault. Rory says, "Don't hog it all, Larry." Let's see. I'm having a grilled cheese sandwich with ketchup. There we go. And Rory as chicken and rib barbecue sauce. Let's see. All right. Oh, here we go. I could have just read ahead and gotten the answer as well. But you know what? I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it's nice to sort of show you where I would go to see if I can find a quick answer to a question. But Bill is mentioning Apple wants to add AI search to their phones. Direct attack on Google search. Google pays to be the default search on Apple phones. So yeah. And I know at one point, and I have to look more into this, I haven't heard anything in a while. I know at one point Apple was looking to make a deal with ChatGPT and have that sort of bundled in. So that way they're ideally, and Apple's really fallen behind on the whole AI thing. So Apple Intelligence was supposed to be this amazing thing. And what's happened is Apple is so concerned about security. And that's fine. I love that about Apple. I love the fact that Apple is so concerned about security. But they wanted to keep the entire large language model on your phone. And that's kind of where they've been having some issues. So they're trying to come up with sort of a rudimentary. Apple Intelligence would be that rudimentary. And then if it has questions that it can't answer from the data it has on your phone, what it would then do is it would then sort of prompt you and say, hey, is it okay if I reach out to ChatGPT to get some more, a more definitive answer on this? And you could either say yes or no. And that way there, it sort of keeps you in a walled garden, and it reaches out to ChatGPT, brings you back the information. So that's kind of where they were going. But Apple has been a little behind on the whole AI thing, which is sad because, I mean, I use Apple. Everything I have is Apple. So I would like for them to get caught up. But at the same time, I mean, I don't care really about Apple Intelligence. I mean, I've got ChatGPT on my devices anyway. So I'm good. But we'll have to see. Jersky saying, buy Brookfield Asset Management now that Carbon Carney got in. Good old Carbon Carney. And you know what? I have not looked at Brookfield Asset Management here in a bit. Let's take a peek. I can do that. All right. All right. Good old Brookfield Asset Management. This is one of my favorite stocks, and yeah, they're doing good today. Like they're up 1.83%. And I'm just going to go back to their 3-year. So it's actually interesting. I sold somewhere. I sold my. I had them in the challenge, and I sold them up in here somewhere. And I am planning. Like Brookfield is one of these companies that I love. I absolutely love the company. Has nothing to do with Carney, obviously. What I'm waiting for with Brookfield is I did sell up here because I felt like we were due for a bit of a correction, and yeah, look what happened. Almost right away, we went down significantly down, even though we have made most of that ground back up. What I'm doing is I am going to get back into Brookfield Asset Management, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see what happens with the economy, to see if we get more signs of going into a bear market, because I could hold off. I could hold off and wait. I would love, like, imagine if we went into a bear market and we can get Brookfield Asset Management down in like $55, $60. That would be ideal. I would load up, absolutely load up for sure. All right. McEagle says Apple could drop, but them trading up for another Chinese-led search engine would be foolish. There's too much risk there, in my opinion. Google should bounce back. Oh, Google's going to be fine. Keep in mind, there's two things that you have to look at when you're looking at a drop in any stock. When it's a drop based on a rumor, it's fear. Fear will drop things much, much lower than what they really will. So, let me just pull up the whiteboard. I wanted an excuse to go to the whiteboard. Now, where the heck is? Oh, this is my whiteboard over here. All right. Oh, 10%. Let's just zip over here. We'll come back up here. All right. So yeah, I mean, if you've got a stock, and let's just say it's moving along, it's flat. We'll say it's flat, but we're just going to do this for observation. If there's a big fear event, generally what will happen is you'll get that big drop. And then as people sort of, have a chance to sort of check things out, it'll go something like that. And then if it's a real event, you might get that as well, but you'll end up getting it to sort of stabilize. It will stabilize at whatever it is, but normally it won't be as, you'll see like it's not quite as big of a drop. So that's kind of the difference between fear. Because when the fear is there, like think about it this way. When you fear something, most times you think it's gonna be much worse than it actually is. And that's one of the reasons why when people start panicking, and also the whole process of falling, that makes other people go, uh-oh, what's happening? I don't know, but I'm jumping off the ship. And some people will do that as well. So sometimes you can get fear getting really crazy, and it can it can go way, way down, even if it's just a wick, even if it's almost a wick down. But it's that whole fear thing. So when I look at something, if I see, like if I'm holding, like for example, if I was holding Google and this fear spike happened, I under no circumstances I'm not going to sell, especially anything on a fear or a rumor. No way. It's coming back up. It is coming back up. I'm going to be fine. Now buying is not a bad thing. Like imagine if you get one of these fear spikes over something that, and like we said, we don't even know if it's going to happen. And manage if, let's say you just happen to grab a few shares down here. Holy banana bread. Because people went crazy, and that's kind of what smart investors do. Like when they see these fear things like this, they're in there, they're stacking up, they're adding, because once things rebound, this is just all of a sudden, because some people were being crazy stupid about fear, they just made a profit. Just bang, boom. So there's nothing too shabby about that. All right. Let's see. Look at ASST on NASDAQ, another Bitcoin treasury. ASST. All right. Let's take a gander. Let's see if I have it here. ASST. Asset entities. Okay. Oh, boy. Look at this. They're up 455%. They went from 60 cents to $3.26. That's pretty big. Yeah, so I mean, they're a I assume that you're talking about adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. So that might be what's going on there, but you got to be careful. A lot of times, guys, when you hear this news, it's too late. It's usually too late. So if you hear this and you jump in here now, good chance, really good chance that tomorrow this might be down around $2. It depends. I mean, it depends. Now, if they keep adding Bitcoin and Bitcoin were to pump, that that it could go higher. It could go higher, but it's a gamble. This is going to be 100% pure speculation at this point. Now, if you heard that they were going to add it when it was at 60 cents, at that point, that would have been a really good move, for sure. And McEagle says, I would buy Brookfield Corporation instead. Better multiple. They own most of BAM anyways. I mean, it's all under the same umbrella. So Brookfield Corporation, they pretty much run all of the different Brookfields. They're kind of like the think of them as being like the head office, the head office of everything. And I do like both. I like both. Now, Brookfield Asset Management, you do get a bigger dividend. It's also a much more premium when it comes to. Now, I will admit that when BAM was formed, so when the old BAM, so Brookfield Asset Management, so BAM.A, when they broke apart into BN and then the new BAM, the new BAM was structured so that it would actually be that one that would have a lot more growth to it. So it was supposed to really do a lot better. It was supposed to do better than BN, but BN, BN did really, really well. So, Brookfield Corporation, definitely. I like them both. I like them both. And some people are very much in that same camp as McEagle, saying, they like the BN better. And there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, I think with either, you're not going to be disappointed. You're definitely not going to be disappointed. Larry says, I'm very happy with Enbridge average 34. It's 46. That ever increasing dividend is the dream. Yeah. I mean, Enbridge, I don't know how many consecutive years they have increased their dividend, but I think they're up around 30. I think they're up around 30. You know what? Let me ask ChatGPT. Let's see, how many years in a row has Enbridge? All right. There we go. We'll see what ChatGPT says. Have them sort of here we are. Look at this. I said I thought it was around 30. ChatGPT is coming back with 29. So I was off by 1. I guess I'm Candace GPT. Candace GPT thought 30. ChatGPT proved me wrong. It's 29. What can I say? Rory says, I bought Enbridge in the high 30s. We'll see what Alberta does in the near future. Alberta is going to be an interesting thing. And of course, all of the separation stuff in the news. Now, if everything went in that direction, so even if, quite literally, if Alberta was going to separate, it's not a fast process. It's not for one, a referendum probably wouldn't even happen this year. So you'd be looking at 2026 probably at the earliest. And even then, everything else that would have to occur after that, holy cow, it probably would take a decade to get it all worked out for it to happen. So it's not a fast process at all. Jim says, I used to have iPods, iPads, Apple TV, and keeping up with iTunes security was just a miserable experience for me. So I don't have any of that stuff anymore. Not buying an Apple product anytime soon. Fair enough. Now, because I'm a content creator, quite literally my main powerhouse, my Apple Studio, it has the juice I need. Much better than what a Windows computer would. Now, I'm sure Windows computers have gotten much better than they used to be. At one point, it was completely 100% hands down. Apple would absolutely run circles around Windows when it comes to video editing, video processing. I'm sure it's probably not as big of a gap anymore, but my ecosystem works really well. And the fact that I never have to drag and drop things, everything I do is available on all my devices. So that to me, it's worth it. It makes my job easier. It makes my job easier for sure. Bill says, don't underestimate Google. These big companies didn't get where they are by crumbling under pressure. I agree 100%. McEagle says, you agree, as you mentioned that there are better growth opportunities compared to CNR. I'm looking for a good Canadian stock with great growth potential, and it would be nice to have a good dividend as well. What I was talking about in this situation is that I think there's going to be companies that are going to fall more than CNR when it comes to that bear market. So because CNR is recession proof, you're going to have, it will come down in the recession, but it's not going to come down a great deal. Whereas you take something like, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. You take one of the banks. The banks are going to come down. They'll probably come down a little bit further in a recession. So if you were looking at, let's say, TD Bank, well, here, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get there. Oh, I already have I'm already sharing my screen. Let's see here. Where is here we go. All right. So, all right, for CN, I'm going to use orange. So let's just say we're heading along. We go into a recession. So yeah, CN's going to come along and, like this. And on the other side of the recession, they'll recover and they'll just continue their journey. So you got a little, you got a little bit of growth here. You get a little bit of, you'll make some money by buying the dip on them. Now, if we were to look at a company like TD, I'll just have them come along just a little bit higher. Well, when we hit that recession, they're going to come down bigger. So it kind of looks like this. So when you have a recession-proof stock, well, if you're dollar cost averaging through this recession here, you're getting a good deal. You are pulling your adjusted cost base down, but on the other side of that, you're only making, a little bit. Whereas if you're dollar cost averaging here with TD, well, on the other side of the recession, I mean, you're making more. You're making more. So, and that's kind of the thing. Now, one of the dangers of this, especially with new investors, is when they're holding something like TD, and let's say TD goes way down, there's always that fear, uncertainty, doubt, FUD. That's going to make a lot of these people, some of them are going to bail. Some of them are going to bail. They're going to be like, I can't, it's going to zero. The whole world's falling apart. I got to get out. Whereas, if you're holding it up here and this happens, you're just basically at that point, you're just, you're a dollar cost averaging here. And of course, at that point, what that does is your adjusted cost base, on the other side of this whole thing might be down in here as well. So that's kind of a nice little thing, but you're going to make some, you'll make bigger profits by investing in a good fundamental company that's not recession proof. The recession proof ones are just not going to fall as far. So just something to keep in mind. And keep in mind too, you could also do something like an ETF if you want as well. That way there, you're getting, you can get exposure many different ways, but there's a lot of good bank ETFs out there as well. All right. Now, you currently own ATD, Brookfield Corporation, and Telus. Okay. Now, ATD, Alimentation Couche-Tard, be careful with them. And I'm going to tell you why. So they are currently in talks with 7 & I. That's the Japanese company that owns 7-Eleven. So they're trying to take over 7-Eleven. There has been some movement in that because just recently they signed disclosure agreements so they can basically try to work out some of the details. So it looks like it's probably going to happen. Now, the price tag on that is close to, what is it, 50 billion? Somewhere's in that vicinity. They don't have 50 billion. Alimentation Couche-Tard is going to have to do, well, they're going to have to dilute their shares to pay for it. So if they dilute their shares, well, that means the share value is going to go down. So if you're holding ATD right now and that sale goes through and then they dilute their shares, your price is going to fall. I still think, ATD is going to be a fantastic company on the other side. Now, I had them in the challenge and I did sell them. I sold completely out of that position for now because I'm going to wait. If this 7-Eleven thing goes through and we get the share dilution, and keep in mind, they may not dilute everything immediately. It might be a slower process. We don't know yet. We have to get the details on how it's going to happen. If they do that, that's going to pull that price down, and then I can get in at a much lower value. But on the other side, ATD is going to be fantastic because we're talking about they will be the biggest convenience store company in the world. They'll have everything from their Circle K, their Bigfoots, their 7-Elevens. They're just going to be crazy big. All right. Larry says, would the king have to approve them leaving? That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know if there would have to be like a royal assent on that or not, but I do know that um, they have to. There's a whole bunch of stuff signing off, and I think the provinces have to sign off on stuff too. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. Let's see. 13% after hours. ASST. Well, that ride isn't over yet. Maybe that ride isn't over yet. But be careful. Be careful. That's what I would say. Carney did say the king owns Canada. The king doesn't really own. I mean, technically the king doesn't even own England. Because the king is nothing more than a figurehead. But it is pretty darn cool that the king's going to come over and read the throne speech. Nonetheless, it's neat. It's neat. All right. Let's see. Just a heads up, when you buy ETFs, it's a good idea to look at their trading expense ratio on top of the MER. Dan from Stock Trades went over this yesterday. So yeah, the TER, some companies will publish that as well. So when you look, like if you have an MER of, let's say, 2%, normally your MER shouldn't be that high unless it's got covered calls and leverage in it. But you could have, there could be even an additional 1% TER, depending, and I'm using those numbers because they're just easy. In that case there, your total fees is going to be like 3%. But yeah, no, trading expense ratio, some companies do have them. You got to look at, there's a lot of things in there. Now, keep in mind though, all of these management type fees, they're all already accounted for. When you look at what you're getting, it's not like they're not coming back to you and say, oh, here, you owe us now an extra percent for that MER. It's not like that at all, but nonetheless, yeah, definitely good to be aware of. Here's where when I'm looking at ETFs, first of all, I look at what I'm getting back from that ETF. And if I'm happy with it, great. But at that point, if I have, and usually there'll be multiple different companies. So, maybe I've got a Hamilton one, I got a Harvest one, I got a Purpose one. In that case there, I will look at all of the different fees on each of them. And sometimes what you'll find is one that just has slightly lower fees. And normally if they have slightly lower fees, you're gonna get you're gonna get bigger returns because they're not eating up as much money. They're being a little bit more efficient. Now, and here's that thing, and this is why I will also I'll look at the returns as well. If they have slightly lower fees, but their returns are not if their returns are not as good as the other ones that have slightly higher fees, then that makes me wonder, okay, what's going on? There's a couple of things that could be going on. One, the management team may not be as good as the other company's management team because, these are people, they're traders, they're skilled traders, but they're the ones whether, especially when we're talking like options and things like that, they're the ones coming up, they're doing it. So you have to sort of take everything into a consideration for sure. But I will say, one thing I have seen in the world of investing is I've seen people who love a fund. They absolutely love a fund. And they're like, this is fantastic. I love the returns I'm getting. I'm making a lot of money on this fund. I'm so happy. And then they find out that they've been paying a management fee behind the scenes. At that point, they're like, oh my God, I hate this fund. And I'm the type that I just say, well, you know what? If I'm absolutely happy with my returns, then I'm okay. Then I'm okay with paying that management fee. And like I said, most of the times you don't even see it. It's all on the back end. You never get to a situation. Now, I think when I first started investing and I heard about these management fees, I was just always wondering, when are they going to take it out of my broker? But they don't do that. It doesn't work that way at all. So everything is done on the back end. Basically, all of the fees are removed before they even calculate the returns that they're going to be giving you. So you never have to worry about it. But for me, if I like what the fund is doing, I'm fine. But if there's two funds doing the same thing, I will sometimes that will come into impact. Like, for example, with spot Bitcoin ETFs, you might look at a couple different ones and it's like, oh, well, this one has a much better fee. But always be careful because sometimes, and you'll notice, like a lot of fees will drop. We'll say, okay, we're dropping our management fee to zero, for the next year as a way to get you to sign up. But that's just the management fee. That's not the management expense ratio. And maybe there's also, as Rory was pointing out, there could also be a trading expense ratio. So you may still actually be paying fees, but that one management fee might be set at zero. So if that management fee is normally, let's say, 0.25, that's all you're getting. You're getting a 0.25% break. Whereas if that management expense ratio was 2, well, then you're still paying that 1.75. So just something to keep in mind. Just when it comes to fees, it all adds in there. It all adds in there. Let's see. Great feedback on ATD. Thanks. I'm about even. I might want to sell out then and see what happens. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you to do that, but I'm just saying to me, that's what I did. Definitely do your due diligence, but it's always good to be aware of what's happening around, and that's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons I pay a lot of attention to politics and news, because a lot of times what's going on the Hill or what's going on in different companies and news takeovers, things like that, absolutely impacts the profits and what we're doing as investors. All right. Are they buying 7-Eleven with shares or cash? That's a good question. We'd have to see what the deal gets broken down to. But my understanding is that it was a cash offer. My understanding. Now I don't know how that's all gonna unwrap. I know I only seen one article where where ATD said that they were going to have to dilute shares to pay for it. So we'll see how that all works. Let's see. The king didn't approve of the 13 colonies leaving. Yeah. Oh, the fun of the king. The fun of the king. Eric says, any thoughts on how Canada is going to deal with crypto? I am quite excited about the U.S. Treasury and BlackRock making its own ETF. It seems that it's getting more and more accepted. Yeah, I mean, Canada-wise, Canada has been a leader in crypto. Now, not so much the government. The government's kind of sitting back and hasn't really done anything. But our own, like everything from the Ontario Securities, all of our provincial securities, they've all allowed crypto a chance to sort of blossom a little bit. So we've had, when you look at the spot Bitcoin ETFs, we had them more than a year. We had them for more than a year by the time the U.S. Finally allowed it, before the SEC would allow it. So that's important. We'll look at this just recently. This year, we actually launched the Solana. So we have Solana spot ETFs now. So we are, and it looks like there are some, I know there's a prospectus out there for some XRP ones. So that's probably going to happen by the summer. I would not be surprised if it happens by the summer. So yeah, Canada is very pro, I think. There hasn't been like a lot in the terms of regulation. And I have a feeling that the government right now, Bitcoin, crypto, not high on their list of things at the moment. There's they've got a trade war to worry about. So I think Canada's going to be fine. I think you're going to see more and more ETFs pop up there, and and that's great because, for the crypto investors, it gives you access to the TFSA, because if you were a crypto investor and not really much into stocks before, you basically were paying capital gains on everything. Whereas now you can, at least through some of these ETFs, you can gain, you can put crypto into your TFSA, and that's fantastic. Now, What I would love to see is I would love to see the TFSA sort of expand and allow crypto directly to go into it. That would be fantastic. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Let's see. Trading talent is expensive. Plus, management companies usually charge 15 to 20% fee on profits as well. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Yes, it is. If it's cash, then the buying company will for sure drop. Just happened to Sony last year, and they're up 20% now. Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the big company like ATD on the other side are going to be massive. They're going to be massive. So wherever they drop to, that's where I want to be buying in. That's where I want to, start dollar cost averaging my way back into ATD because I think they're going to be huge. They're going to be huge, and they are a recession-proof business at the same time. So we have all of that going for us. It's going to be fantastic. What's a great Canadian stock you have your eye on for growth? Good question. Right now, a pair of stocks that I really, really love, and anybody who's been following this channel for a while knows that I am a huge fan of Hammond. So we're talking Hammond Power Supply, so HPS.A, and Hammond Manufacturing, HMM.A. They're both owned by the same team. It's a father and sons. They have been absolutely on fire. Now, yeah, they have gone down with some of the turmoil that we've seen in the economy lately, but they're companies that they have a problem that most companies would love to have. They have more customers than they can handle. So one of the things, so if we look at HPS.A, so Hammond Power Solutions, they make things like transformers and a lot of electrical stuff. It's all infrastructure driven. So any country. So right now they have, they do North America, so Canada, the United States, and they also have India. So they've been working heavily in India because India is trying to capitalize on the fact that they're now the most populous country in the world, and they have a huge push on infrastructure in India because they want to increase their infrastructure so that they can take advantage of filling some of the holes that China is leaving. As more people want to move away from China, India is becoming that second go-to option. Now, tariffs. India's already got some negotiations going on with the United States, so hopefully they can get that taken care of. But Hammond has a lot of customers. Now, the other Hammond company, HMM.A, the manufacturing, they build a lot of the stuff that complements what HPS.A does. So pretty much, as long as HPS.A succeeds, HMM.A, they're following right along because if you're dealing with Hammond Power Solutions, like, okay, now we need all of the enclosures and stuff for the stuff we're doing. Our other company does that. It's a no-brainer. So that work will come to them. So I love these companies. If their price goes down, I'm actually happy when it goes down because it's like time to buy more because I think that these are two companies that are going to really explode, and they have exploded in the past. Like big time. Like here's an interesting thing. I'll show you one thing. I'll show you here on we'll do Hammond Power Solutions. All right, HPS.A. Whoops. Should be a dot, not an equal sign. All right. So right now they're sitting at they're up 1.5% today. I'm just going to pull up the 5-year. All right. So here we go. This was their initial exposure. Now, interestingly enough, I was telling people about this company back in here. I was telling people about Hammond, and look at this. Look at this. Just absolutely crazy. Now, yeah, they had a little bit of a, they exploded and then they had a little bit of a correction, normal. But yeah, they're going to be strong. I think they're going to be strong. Now, are they going to get back up to 150? Yeah, probably. But it's not going to be fast. On the other side of the recession, probably, but I do see this as being a strong company. And HMM.A, Now, HMM.A, much smaller company, but we'll do the same thing with them. And you can see they also had that same explosion. They followed, and then, they had, of course, a little bit of a correction. So right now, I'm loving it when it's down in here. I think this is a fantastic spot for them. So I'm loving both of the Hammond companies. Big fans, big fans. And it's funny. Because I'm such big fans, I will have one of the questions I'll get anytime Hammond is falling. People are like, "Are you still liking Hammond?" And I'm like, "Yes, I absolutely am." But anyway, there we go. Hopefully that gives you a couple of things to do your due diligence on. Jim says, with ETF, the distribution you get already has the management fee taken off. That's how I understand it. Hands free and easy. Yeah, yeah. It's already taken. It's already done. Before they calculate their returns for you. So like if they have a yield, that percentage yield that they're returning, everything's already been removed. All of the management fees already gone, already deducted before they look at. So think of it this way: they make a big pot of money. So whether it be in this case here, let's say they're doing covered calls, so all of the premiums will go in there, all of the dividends they get. If they're holding U.S. companies, those dividends, the IRS is taking 15% of those, but all of that's coming in. Then they will take they'll take their management fee, and then they will take their expenses, like for example, the power, the power for the light, their computers, their staff, all of that comes out. Then whatever's left, that's where they sort of figure out and calculate, okay, this is what we can give out as a distribution on this fund. So yeah, it's already done. You don't have to worry about it. Rory says, I only heard about Parkland being bought out yesterday. It was news to me. Yes, I heard about that. A US company bought them. Sunoco, was that it? Yeah, I think it was. All right. Enid is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Enid. Good to see you. All right. Bill says, for Canadian growth, check out Fairfax. Decent PE ratio, basically a Berkshire clone. Fairfax Financial. They're absolutely crazy. I did do a deep dive on them, but yeah, let's take a look here. This is an expensive stock. So, if you want one share, you're dishing out $2,231. Now, today they're up 1.63%. Let's just go to 5 years. Can you say rocket ship? Like, you can't even see. Like, look in here. You cannot, like, is this right here? No, that's, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go 10. I have to go 10 years now to see. All right. Yeah, we can. Here we go. Here's the pandemic. But even then, that was just a little drop, and then they've been exploding ever since. So, yeah, Fairfax Financial, absolutely crazy. Yeah, I think they're fantastic. There's a couple of big Canadian companies like this. Another one, and Vince loves this one. Constellation Software. Oh, look at the price, 50-50. It's like, do I want to pay 50-50? I don't know. I'm kind of split on that. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, let's do the 10-year on them. And once again, this is a similar situation. They've been just absolutely. Now, the nice thing is if you like Constellation Software, there are a couple of spinoffs like Topicus.com that are out there as well. So this is absolutely, and I think most of it's like vertical software stuff. It's absolutely crazy. The value on this. It's one of these companies that I would love to see it do a split, but I have a feeling they never will, because I think they take pride in the fact that they're so expensive. But you know what? On something like Wealthsimple, or now Questrade, you can get fractional shares. You can always get fractional shares. So you don't have to worry about the fact that a full share is 50-50. Larry says, with the amount of power needed, because of AI, Hammond sounds like a winner. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Hammond Power Solutions is absolutely a banger, in my opinion. Enid says, I like Fairfax Financial, but so pricey, and with the price increase in the past few months, I feel like I missed the boat. I can understand that. But, it's one of those things. And I will tell you, I'm a little bit anal. I am absolutely. It's like I know fractional investing. I can get a little piece of something, and I like to have whole numbers. Why? I don't know. I just do. It's like I don't want to have 1.1. I want to have one or I want to have two. Um, but yeah, I need that's something I need to get over. I need to get over that. But just kind of those things. But at the same time. No, with Questrade is doing real time fractional shares. So you'll see Wealthsimple follow suit. Pretty much, absolutely. And then at that point, it will make it a little bit easier because it does suck. Like if you want to, you're like, oh, I want to buy the dip right now. They're down. I want to buy a fractional share. And then you have to wait until they process it a couple of hours later or so. And at that point, that price may have rebounded on you again. So yeah, I like the real-time fractional. So yeah, Wealthsimple, hurry up on that, please. Rory says, yeah, that's too rich for me at the moment. Bill says, no boat to miss. It's a growing company. They make money, buy more investments, make more money, rinse, repeat. And Enid says, okay, I'll reconsider Fairfax Financial. All right. Guys, I totally forgot to turn on the night bot because I was going to give you an option to earn a Friday show. But you know what? I completely screwed that up. So, you know what? I'm giving you a Friday show. I know super's needed. You're getting it. It's in the bank because that was me. That was on me. I meant to set that up and I completely forgot. And so yeah, Friday we'll be back here. We'll do it all over again. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right. If you got your last minute questions, get them on in. Get them on in. We're getting close to the end, but if you got more questions, throw them at me. I have no problem answering. I'm going to have some coffee here while you guys are thinking about your last minute questions. Oh, so good. So good. Now today I was happy. Today's garbage day. And you guys are probably thinking, how the heck can you be happy about garbage day? Well, 2 weeks ago, they just didn't take our garbage. They didn't. It's like in the night, once it was clear that they weren't coming, I had to carry them back. I was like, seriously? So today it's like normally we have about 3 bags of garbage every 2 weeks. Today we had actually we did good. I think we only had 5. I think we had 5 bags. But I was just like, I don't want to carry these back in again. And I've never had that happen before. Now, mind you, the last time there was a Easter kind of threw things off a little bit, but they did take them today. So I'm very happy about that. Very, very happy. All right. Well, it doesn't look like there's any last minute questions. All right. That's cool. So yeah, we'll be back, of course. We'll be back on Friday. Before then, I'll let you know, TD Deep Dive coming out for you on Friday. Channel members will be able to see that tomorrow. I guess that's all I got for you. All right. Wait a minute. Rory says Ottawa already has a garbage strike. The HOC. Oh, House of Commons. Oh boy. Yeah. All right, Rory. Well, we'll go with that. Why not? I'm pretty. Yeah. I'll take it. All right, guys. Until next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good week on the market. We'll talk again on Friday. Until then, take care. Bye-bye, everybody.